Hey there, this is Niels Beardfoot, and today I want to show you how to make this Viking leather belt. As always, we starting with the pattern, printing it out, taping it together, cutting it out and transfer it onto the leather and cut out that tooth. All the main pieces you need are the base pieces, the top pieces, some straps and the small decoration pieces. For sizing you need the base pieces, and this long piece is the one you want to cut into length. Also you need a belt that is fitting you already. Let both base pieces overlap for 5 to 10 centimeters and put on the belt with the hole that you use on the one side and the end of the buckle on the other side, and add at least 10 centimeters. It is always easier to cut something away than to add something. Next, moisten your wedge-tan leather from both sides. This way you can transfer the ornaments and tool it. To get the parallel lines to the edge, I use a groove cutter reverse so it only marks but does not cut. When the leather is mostly dry but still cool on the touch, we can start with our swivel knife. I first wanted to tool the background like shown here, but then I decided I want to cut out the background itself. Haven't done this too often, it's really tedious, but it turned out really nice in the end. Along the edge I put in a Viking knotwork border stamp. And in the end, to give it some used look, I add some fake cut marks and use the natural stone to give it a more rustic look. Next up is punching sewing holes already. Now we want to punch the round holes along the edge, and to get these in a straight line I again use the groove cutter reverse to mark a parallel line to the edge. After this I transfer the distance of all the holes along the edge from the pattern and punch them. Also, some oblong holes need to be punched here. If you don't have a punch like this, just use 2 round holes and cut out the in-between. Next, you can bevel all the edges that will stand for themselves. Also, you want to thin out the flash side of some pieces, especially the end of the straps. And this is how your pieces may look like now. After we have assembled all the pieces, we can start putting on some dye. Here I'm using an airbrush, like most of the time, since it gives me full control on how the color looks in the end. For the edge of the top pieces I use a sponge to put on the dye, just to not get it everywhere. After this, putting on all the pieces 2 coats of resist to prepare it for antique gel and further proceeding. With some resist on the edges you also can burnish it. To give the border a darker color, I go on with another coat of the same dye and tap away some of the paint. You might have noticed I messed up a little bit here, but in the end it almost is not visible. Coming next, the antique gel. using a brush to get in all the deep cuts and cracks and wipe away all the excess. I always like to put on 2 coats, so when I have put on 1 coat completely, I wait a little bit and put another coat just to get more into the cracks. And to seal all the dye and paint up, I use another coat of resist. Since I've cut the background of this piece, I glue on a thin coat of leather just to give it the color that I want. In advance, I marked where all the leather is and carefully traced this back with the contact cement. For easier proceeding, I cut away all the excess leather right away. Since this piece will overlap a little bit on the top and the bottom, I glue on some leather pieces at the back side just to give it more strength and body. Important to note is that the edge towards the center is thinned out. Also here you want to cut away all the excess leather, sandpaper the edge, bevel it, re-dye it and burnish it with some resist. Position the back top piece and its straps, measure them out so they sit really nice, mark where they will be glued on and glue them on. Roughing up the top side of the leather gives the glue more surface to stick. I forgot to film how I put it on, so we get straight on to hammering it down and cutting the sewing holes all the way through. And then sew it. For the front, the procedure is almost the same, but we need to create these decoration pieces first. With rivets, these will be holed on the top front piece here. Also we need to set some buckles into the buckle straps. And from here on is the same procedure as on the back piece. Position your pieces, glue them on, cut the holes and sew it. Now this is the moment where you can check again the length of your belt and if needed cut away the excess leather. For the edge weaving you want to put these holders in first. We start by pulling our lace almost all the way through the first hole, then through the second hole and create a loop. Through this loop we go again from right to left, but then directly downwards. To give the edge more body, I put in another thick lace piece that will be weaved in, and also you want to pull the end of the lace through the first loop. Then you want to close the first loop and then the second loop. And repeat. So the lace goes through the hole, creates a loop, and then we go through the loop again from right to left and then directly downwards. Then we close the first loop and the second loop. If you run out of lace, start early to weave in on the back side another piece of lace. Also, you want to obviously cut away all the excess of the lace piece that we weaved in with. After the weaving, we now want to position our two remaining decoration pieces and also use rivets to fix them in place. And as last step, mark where exactly your holes for the buckles need to be and punch them. And here it is, the finished Thor's belt. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Leave a like if you did. Also let me know in the comments what you think about it. Check out my other videos and the pattern to this piece and as well to all my others in my shop. See you guys next time. Have a great day.